State the rules for approximating the definite integral, the integral of from a to b of f of x dx with the midpoint rule, the trapezoidal rule, and Simpson's rule. Which would you expect to give the best estimate? How do you approximate the error for each rule? Let a be less than or equal to x, and x be less than or equal to b. Big I equals the integral from a to b of f of x dx, and delta x equals open b minus a close over n. Midpoint rule, big I approximately equals big M sub n, which equals delta x open bracket f of x sub 1 bar plus f of, I should be x bar sub 2 plus ellipsis through plus f of x bar sub n, close bracket, where x bar sub I is the midpoint of open bracket x sub I minus 1 and x sub I close bracket. Trapezoidal rule, big I approximately equals big T sub n equals delta x over 2 open bracket f of x sub 0 plus 2 f of x sub 1 plus 2 of f plus 2 times f of x sub 2 plus ellipsis plus 2 times f of x sub n minus 1 plus f of x sub n, where x sub I equals a plus I delta x. Simpson's rule, big I is approximately equal to big S sub n equals delta x over 3 open bracket f of x sub 0 plus 4 f of x sub 1 plus 2 f of x sub 2 plus 4 f of x sub 3 plus ellipsis plus 2 f of x sub n minus 2 plus 4 f of x sub n minus 1 close plus f of x sub n close bracket, where n is even. You would expect the best estimate to be given by Simpson's rule. Suppose the absolute value of f double prime of x is less than or equal to big K, and absolute value of f to the fourth power of x, and the absolute value of the fourth derivative of f of x is less than or equal to big L, for a is less than or equal to big X, which is less than, I'm restarting this line. Suppose the absolute value of the second derivative of x is less than or equal to big K, and the absolute value of the fourth derivative of f of x is less than or equal to big L, for a is less than or equal to x, which is less than or equal to b. The errors in the midpoint, trapezoidal, and Simpson's rules are given by, respectively, the absolute value of big E sub big M is less than or equal to big K open b minus a closed to the power 3 over 24n squared. And the absolute value of big E sub big T is less than or equal to big K open b minus a closed to the power 3 over 12n squared. And the absolute value of big E sub big S is less than or equal to big L open b minus a closed to the fifth power over 180 n to the fourth power. Define the following improper integrals. The integral from a to infinity of f of x dx equals the limit as t approaches infinity of a to the power t of f of x dx. The integral from negative infinity to b of f of x dx equals the limit as t approaches negative infinity of the integral from t to b of f of x dx. And the integral from negative infinity to infinity of f of x dx equals the integral of negative infinity to a of f of x dx plus the integral from a to infinity of f of x dx, where a is any real number, assuming that both integrals are convergent.